Okay, as we attempt the revision one, the extra uh, piece, let me, this particular paper, question one, uh, you could start anywhere actually. And for me, I'll just choose to start from the hexagon and then I'll work my way down and then all the way back up. Okay, so here's how it goes. And question one will be drawn in this region here. And the first lines that I'll draw are the center lines, and going back to outline, I will draw the hexagon first. So it's under polygon. A hexagon has 6 sides. It is choose the center, circumscribe across flats, and the number given is 36. So the radius is 18. Okay. Now very often most of the time the hexagon may present itself in a rotated form offset from 90 degrees. So how you get it back to the correct orientation is you select rotate, and you select your hexagon. Then you right click to accept the selection. You specify the point at which it rotates, so it's the center point here. And then you move and snap to the vertical axis. Okay, and once you're done, press escape and you have your first feature or your first lines, right? It's the hexagon. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to offset by 60. Okay, what I'm doing is that I'm offsetting by 60 and then I'll offset by 72 so that I can draw these two arcs first, and then I'll draw a line across followed by the ellipse. Okay, then I will offset by 72. This one goes all the way to the end. Okay, and I have two circles. The first circle has a radius of 30, which is the outer one, and the inner circle has give you the diameter of 36, which the radius is 18. Okay, and what I'll do is from here tidy up my center lines. Right, there is a line that cuts across at an angle. I'll put here 45 tab, and the angle given to us is 26 degrees. Okay, then once you're done with that, you trim. Because this is not needed, and this one goes across to a certain length, and we will do an offset by 30 millimeters to point A. Okay, why am I doing that? 30 millimeters to point A, which is this point here, right? Point A, 30 millimeters to this point, so that I can draw a straight line. And then I have my center axis, and I also have the point B here. Then I can draw my ellipse. Okay, so so then 30 millimeters from there is here, so all the way across here. I can trim this away as well. Okay, I'll switch over to the center line. I'll start drawing from this side here, and the ellipse ends here, and I will draw the ellipse. Okay, the center of the ellipse is here, point B is here, and point A is here. Select this, put this to my outline, because I've forgotten to switch between the layers. So you need to be comfortable with switching between the layers. Then what I'll do is I'll trim this end, okay, and I don't need this end anymore. Okay, now once this is all done, spend some time to tidy up first so that you don't And how do you know where your center lines are supposed to be? That's something which you have to look at your drawing. And what you do is whatever that is shown in the drawing, you should emulate it, okay? Copy it exactly the same, right? So once this is done, I'm going to do an offset of 68 to the next center so that I could draw the inner circle, or maybe I'll draw the outline first. Offset to over here, and then I'll draw the outer circle, which is R34. Then from there, I'm able to do R24 and complete the top feature outline over here. So what I'm going to do is offset by 68. Okay. And going to the outline. And the radius is 34. Okay. So what happens is that we are going to draw the radius 24, which is tangent to the two circles. Radius 24, which is tangent to the top circle, and the bottom arc, sorry, the two arcs, they are tangent. So what we need to do is you need to change your circle command to tangent tangent radius. Okay. Then you select the first tangent, second tangent, and you enter the radius of 24 millimeters. Right. When that is done, you can do your trimming. Okay, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this quadrant. I zoom in, don't need this as well. Okay, when you're done, what you can do is you can draw from this point and you press Ctrl right click to activate the OS snaps, the snap functions, and you can choose the tangent. Okay, so then if it tangent to the circle, then what you do is you trim this away. So now that you have gotten all the profiles out and the center lines are more or less cleaned, right, cleaned out, we can then focus on the inner features. Okay, these inner features. The first feature that I'll draw is this inner feature. I'll draw the PCD so that I know where the intersection are. Then I will create the slots. I'll create the horizontal slots first together with the center lines. Alright, PCD. So the PCD is in a diameter, and the diameter for the PCD is 42. Okay, then the next one is the outline, and the outline diameter is 24. Okay, and the circle over here is radius 5, so actually it's 10. Right, and how do I draw the slots? This was something that was taught in our earlier tutorial lessons. We put the intersection point here and we draw a really long line. Okay, and that line could be, let's say, 30 millimeters tab. It doesn't really matter. And the angle that we will choose, right, because the arc, the slot is angled at 28 degrees. So if you divide it by 2 across the horizontal axis, it's 14 degrees from the horizontal axis. And the degree that we should enter will be 180 minus 14. And that will leave us with 166. Okay, enter. Now once you're done with this, this is not the end yet. You actually need to do an offset. And the offset amount is 5 millimeters, 5 millimeters, which is the radius of the arc, and I offset it on this side. Okay, and what I do is I delete this away and I do an extension. Why? Because this line is to be extended all the way right to the end of this arc here. Okay, then we will trim away the lines. Trim. Right. One very common mistake among students is that after they trim away, they think it looks clean, but when you zoom in, you will always need to check, because there are some tangents that are before the PCD, okay? And if that happens, right, that happens, you need to trim this additional bit away as well, okay? If not, you will get some marks lost. So you should trim it away before you do your mirror. If not, you'll waste time trimming it twice. Now, since it is tangent to the both sides of the circle, you should be able to trim away the inner arc. If you are not able to trim away this inner arc, it simply means that your line is not tangent to the circle. So you need to revisit it again and redraw it again. Okay. Now, once this is done, I am going to trim away this inner arc. Okay. All right. At this point, what I'll do is I will rotate, right click to accept the selection. Then next is to specify the base point to rotate about. Okay. Sorry, not rotate. My bad. The next one you do is the polar array. So you need to select polar array. Okay. And you select the objects that you want to array. Right. Right click to accept your selection. Then left click to choose your center point. And by default, they will rotate it by 360 degrees. They will give you 6 items, but you only need 4. And the angle at which you rotate, if you look closely at the question paper, the slots are 72 degrees apart. So you actually take 72 multiplied by 3 times, because it's 72, 72, 72. Okay, so 3 times that you have to rotate about, and that would give us 216 degrees. So you need right here 216, and you can see, right? Now, if you do not observe carefully, you will think that, oh, you're done, you click close. No, you're not done yet. The direction is on the wrong side, so you need to click on this direction icon, and it will flip it the other way around, and that's what we want to rotate. Okay, now the next thing that we need to do, right, is that we need to trim it away. This segments here, don't need that, and we are more or less done. Oh yes, yeah, I didn't draw an additional center line to rotate it across, because what will happen is that I will then have 2 center lines overlapping. So I intentionally omitted that, and what I am going to do, I know it seems like a lot more trouble, but that's the convention, right? I'm going to draw one more center line, which is over here. Okay, and if you don't want to have to deal with the angles, all you have to do is put it to the center point, and then you extend from there. But if you are comfortable with the angles, and you know that actually the angle that you need is, okay, let's settle the distance first. Let's put it as 28. Okay, and the angle that you need to specify, right, is greater than 90 degrees, right? And it is actually 90 degrees plus 18 degrees. Okay, plus 18 degrees, so it's 108. Right, it's 108. How is that so? I take 90 minus 72 degrees. Okay, then this is actually 18 degrees over here. 18 degrees plus 90 degrees is 108. Then what I do from here, right, if your center line doesn't show up, it's okay. Let's see if I drag it out a bit way up here. Yeah. Now once you're done with one, you do a polar array again, and you just array this, right? You only need it 3 times now instead, and you only need it by 72 times 2, 144 degrees. Okay, then you change the direction and you should get this. Right, once you close array, you are done. And these are the center lines. You check your center lines. It's too long, so you trim it down, right? Overly long center lines, they have some marks deducted. Okay, so don't leave that to chance. Don't leave that to chance. You've already gotten so far, just tidy up your drawing. Should be good. Okay, so with that, that is question 1 for your revision 1, the extra paper. So I'm going to stop recording now.